This is continuing coverage. The Black Swan murder trial of Ashley Benefield from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. Now back to the courtroom.
The word that you had used to refer to your dad's interest in Ashley was what?
When are you referencing?
In general. Was the word fixated? Was that the word you used?
Yes.
That's all.
All right, redirect.
No, thank you.
All right, can this witness be released?
No.
Okay, yes, but no, so you know. All right, Ms. Benefield, you've not been released from your subpoena, all right? And the rule of sequestration has been invoked. What that means is that you can't be in the courtroom anytime that there's testimony being given or evidence being presented. Because this is being shown on TV or the internet or something, you can't watch it outside of court. You can't watch what's going on inside of court. You can't be inside of court. You also may not discuss your testimony with any other witnesses or any of the attorneys. Better practices don't talk about it with anybody else. And none of the other witnesses nor the attorneys can talk with you about what's going on in court. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And again, you're not released from your subpoena, so you need to remain available.
Okay.
All right. But for now, you're excused.
Thank you.
All right, members of the jury, it's right about lunchtime, so let's go ahead and take our lunch break. It's just a couple of minutes before 12. In order to give you time to go and find what you want and everything, I'm going to ask you to be back in that jury assembly room downstairs at about 1:10. All right, so it'll give you about an hour and 10 minutes if you want to go somewhere. Certainly, there's plenty of places. If you haven't been in downtown Bradenton for a while, there's plenty of places up and down Main Street, 12th Street, all the way down to the water. There's some places on 13th, also some places a little bit south. Please leave your notes here. Do not discuss the case with anyone else outside of the jury or amongst yourselves. Please don't do any research on the people, places, things, or legal topics we've heard anything about. Remember also, it's kind of a small town. Sometimes it happens where jurors are sitting in one booth and somebody on the other side of that booth you hear talking about the case, or you heard names that sound familiar or things that sound familiar. Remember, I need you to, they may not know you're there, just hey, I'm on the jury, I need you to stop. If they don't, I need you to report it to the deputies as soon as you get back. All right, you're free to go. All right, have a seat. Before I let you all go, State, you had just mentioned that despite Eva Benefield not being released, you want her to remain in the courtroom?
Yes, pursuant to Marcy's law and pursuant to the earlier discussion.
All right, did you want to be heard?
No.
Okay, then she'll be allowed to remain in the courtroom as the next of kin.
Okay, thank you.
All right, same with you all. I don't foresee, I mean, you said you exchanged witness lists, so you know who's going to be coming in the afternoon.
Yes.
Are there any that, because this morning we had talked about 4 different people, so 2 have testified. Whenever we get back, if there's any particular issues about any folks in the afternoon, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
And we're behind, so I'm not sure exactly when those other people will be coming up, so.
All right, we'll see you guys back here at 1:10.
Thank you. And we anticipate the jury coming back in at 1:15?
Correct, exactly. We are record, State versus Ashley Benefield. After our lunch break, Mr. Taylor, if you would do me a favor, that witness list that I used to read to the jury at the beginning, I took it back. If you could Monday or Thursday.
Of course.
When we're getting close for you to take over, because evidently.
Your Honor.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Judge, we'll need the system with Mr. Sand, please.
All right.
I didn't hear, I don't know if you already told you, sorry.
Is it going to be audio and video?
Just an I.
The 911 call.
Yes, sir. Oh. May I approach you?
Yes, ma'am.
Those are
Me.
for the jury. If you'll double check that there's 9 there, sir.
Okay.
And then this is one for you.
Thank you.
And we gave one to the court reporter.
For me.
Sorry, I didn't know if I gave you an extra. Yes, and we double checked. Yep, and we sent it. I sent it in. Yeah, you're good.
Judge, I just want to test this.
It works.
Thank you.
And what is the address of your emergency? Well, that did not work. Let's see.
I think we would need 2.2 and 2.
2.6.
Yes, sir.
I have both.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I am informed,
And the,
doing my best to try to keep up with everything. I've kind of misled the court, I'm afraid, to some extent. We actually filed an amended defense witness copy of the petition.
All right.
And I don't think there was anybody significant that was either on there or removed that would change it.
All right. Hope not.
He was connected earlier. Did you switch your part?
Oh, we need to switch. You were connected earlier. Is there a thing to switch it to this
Yeah,
port?
just replug.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just plug it.
Okay, thank you. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Okay.
So we don't need to lower the lights. No, it's just audio. Oh, all right. Mark it down.
Transcript.
She gave us something.
All right, Stady, you ready to call them in?
Yes, do you want him in now or when the jury comes in?
No, the jury.
Oh, the jury, yes.
I apologize,
thought
it
you
wasn't a
meant
good
the
question.
witness. Yes.
Mr. Taylor, you ready for me to call the jury in?
Ready.
Also, it looks like the redactions have been done mechanically with black boxes and black lines. Have you had a chance to review the redacted transcripts?
We have, Judge, we're in agreement.
All right, so everybody's okay with it?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring 'em in. All right, you all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. You know the questions I'm going to ask. Did anybody discuss the case amongst yourselves or begin deliberations? Talk about the case with anybody outside the jury, or do any research on the people, places, things, or legal topics you've heard anything about? No. All right, everybody says no. Where we left off, the state was still in presenting its case. So stay next with.
It calls John Sant.
Clerk, raise your right hand, be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Call me, please.
Hello, sir. Need some assisting devices?
It might help.
All right. Certainly, here's a pair that you can use. Turn them around the other way.
This way?
Yes, sir. I think that'll work better. And the deputy will show you how to adjust it. Oh, did I scare you? It's too loud? Okay, sorry about that.
Here's the volume control.
Okay.
Make sure to keep it focused.
All right.
That's fine.
I apologize about that. I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right. It's okay.
Sir, my name is Judge White. I'm presiding over this case. Just make yourself comfortable in that seat. Get about 12 inches. It does adjust up, down, left, or right as you need it. Just speak in a loud, clear voice right into that mic, be able to hear everything.
All right.
Please state your name.
John Williams Jr.,
How do you spell Sant?
S-A-N-T,
Where do you live?
in 11327 White Rock Terrace in Bradenton.
Okay. And did you live next door to Ashley Benefield and her mother, Alicia Byer? Do you still live at that same address?
I do.
Do they still live at the same address?
No.
Okay. Did Ashley have a child when you lived next to each other?
She did.
About how old was the child last time you were together?
At the house, in the neighborhood,
When they were living in the neighborhood?
I'd say 18 months to 2 years.
Okay. And do you remember a day when Ashley came to your house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what day of the week that was?
It was on a Sunday.
And what time of day was it? Light out, dark out?
It was still light, but it was probably early evening. It was between football games.
Okay, so it was between the football games on a Sunday?
Right.
All right. Still light out. What do you remember about Ashley coming over?
From the very beginning.
Right.
Well, I heard a very loud pounding on my door, and it was loud. And I went and I looked out through the little window, and there wasn't anyone there. So I thought, well, went to the back and looked out the back. I even looked out the side. I didn't see anybody. And I was thinking, well, one of my grandkids has a friend in that area there. I thought they might be messing around, but I didn't see anything. So I guess it was a few minutes. Nobody, must be just someone screwing around. And it happened again.
The pounding.
The pounding happened again, yeah.
I'm having a little trouble here.
All right. Yeah, if we can get you to scoot up a little bit. There you go.
Sorry. What part do you want me to start at again?
Okay, so you can start it again.
The pounding.
Okay, and what did you do then?
At that point, now I'm starting to get a little concerned. Someone's trying to either break in or a home invasion. And I went back into my room, went into my closet, a weapon out.
Okay. And you say weapon, what kind of weapon was that?
It was a Glock 23, 40 cal.
Okay. So you had your own firearm.
Yes, ma'am.
You pulled that out, and what did you do?
I then came from the closet back towards the door and decided at that point, let's look out the door one more time before I load one in and take it to the door. So I just set it down on the little table beside my chair.
So you set the gun down?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I left, and then I went back to the door.
What did you...
And I looked out again, and then that's when I saw I saw a leg sticking out. Someone was sitting on the stoop.
Okay. So you saw a leg. You think someone was sitting?
Well, they were sitting.
Okay. So what'd you do?
Well, then I kind of noticed who the leg belonged to, or I thought I did. And I went and I opened the door.
And did you know who it was when you saw the person?
I assumed who it was when I looked out the window.
When you opened the door, could you see who it was?
Well, by the time I got the door open, she was standing up.
So you saw who it was?
Yes.
And who was it?
It was Ashley.
Okay. And you kind of pointed over that direction. You see her in the room today?
She's over next to Mr. Taylor, yeah.
Stipulate that it's Miss Benefield, Your Honor.
Stipulation to ID.
Yes.
Okay. And what did Ashley say when you opened the door?
As soon as I opened the door, before I could say anything, she said, he attacked me.
And is that all she said?
At that point, I said, who? He said, Doug. He attacked me, and I shot him.
Okay. Is that all she said to you?
That's all she said.
Did she have a weapon with her?
I didn't see it at that point.
Did you see a weapon eventually?
Eventually,
Where was that weapon?
it was laying down just to the right of my door where I couldn't see it, where I was standing at that point.
And when did you see that weapon?
Well, after she said, and I shot him, I said, well, then you better come in. The left,
What was it?
it was a handgun.
What did you do with that handgun?
Once I got her in the house, I told her, I said, I can't leave that out there. No, I don't know whether she responded or not, but then I went out, reached down, picked it up by the trigger guard, brought it back in the house, and set it down inside the door.
Okay. And when you say inside the door, was that on the floor or was there a table?
It was on the floor.
On the floor. Okay. So once you brought her into the house, where did you go?
Once I brought the weapon in, I shut the door and locked it. And I looked at her and I said, what condition is Doug in? And she said, I don't know. Or she said, don't know. She just don't know. I said, where's your mother and Emerson? And she said, at the park.
So you knew her mother and you knew Emerson, her daughter?
Yes,
Okay. And she said at the park?
at the park.
And at some point during this conversation when she was at your house, did she tell you that that gun was hers?
After listening to the tapes, I was able to hear her say it, but it was really faint, yeah.
Okay. Did you call 911?
I did,
Have you listened to the 911 call?
many times.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit Number 1. You can take a look at this. What is this?
The disc, I guess.
It's a disc.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
The 911 call.
Oh, okay.
And when you listened to this 911 call, was it an accurate representation of your conversation with the person on the other line? To your memory?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't me.
Pardon?
Yes, I recognize my own
Okay.
voice.
The state would enter into evidence State's Exhibit 1.
No objection.
It'll be received.
What was Ashley's mood when she was there?
I'm sorry, Ashley's what?
Ashley's mood?
Terrified.
Okay. Was she, do you remember her crying?
I didn't remember her crying until I was listening to those tapes, and then it sounded like she was crying, but she just couldn't get any words out after that last statement about where her mother and daughter were. That was really the last coherent amount of any words that ever came out of her mouth that I could understand. At that point, it was just stuttering and shaking and sobbing.
Okay. So you did not have any other conversations with her, meaningful conversations with her after that?
No, the rest of the conversation was a 911 operator.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit Number 1.
Members of the jury, when physical evidence, documents, photographs, video or audio recordings, and so forth are admitted or received by the court, they may be published to the jury. This means shown to the jury. Depending on the type of evidence, it might be shown to you on the overhead screen, through the sound system, handed out for you to look at, or shown to you. Evidence that is admitted or received by the court will be available to you during your deliberations, and you will have as much time as you need to review and consider the evidence. Members of the jury, you are about to listen to an audio recording. The court instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of the case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you listen to, view, and consider the evidence.
Thank you, Judge.
Finally, you are about to hear a recorded conversation. This recorded conversation is proper evidence, and you may consider it just as any other evidence. You are also going to be furnished a transcript of the recorded conversation. The recording is the evidence, and the transcript is being provided to you only as a guide to help you follow along as you listen to the recording. The transcripts are not evidence of what was actually said or who said it. If you notice any difference between what you hear on the recording and what you read in the transcript, you must rely on what you hear and not what you have read. Also, Deputy, also, any notes that you want to make during the playing of the audio should be on your notepads. Once we have played this audio for you, the transcript, as I said, is not evidence. You will not be allowed to keep the transcript, and the transcript will not go back with you during your deliberations. But the audio recording will be available. So you can just take one and pass it down. Help yourself, sir. Yeah, if you want some water. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Manatee County 911, what is the address of your emergency?
Hi, my address is 11327 White Rock Terrace.
Okay, can you repeat that for me to make sure I have it correctly?
The house next door, honey, what's your address? Okay, it's right next door to me. She just came over. Her strange husband attacked her, and she says she shot him. Now, we've not gone over there yet.
Okay, what's his name?
Who?
What is his name?
His name is Doug Benefield.
Okay.
I have not gone over there. I'm not ready to go back.
I don't want you to go over there. Stay on the line just one moment. I'm going to connect you over to the sheriff's dispatch, okay?
Okay.
One moment.
Calm down, honey. Calm down.
What is your name, sir?
My name's John Sant. KNT. I live next to
Officer dispatch on a recorded line. This is Gabby. How can I help you? Hey, Gabby, it's Karen. On the 11327, I have John Singer on the phone. He's saying the neighbor came over, female neighbor. It was a domestic. She shot her husband.
Okay. All right, I'm going to get that on the screen, okay?
Okay.
Which screen is this for at
The 11327 White Rock Terrace.
Okay.
That's my address.
That's your address? What's her address? Where this occurred at?
Her address is right next to, I believe it's 11331.
She's on the corner?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, on the corner. She's with me now, quite upset. The weapon is here. Do you want me to go over and look at anything, or just wait for the police?
No, I want you to just wait for the police, okay?
All right, if you could just get them here quick. She came in, she was quite hysterical. I didn't know who was banging on my door. Said that he attacked her, and she shot him.
Okay. I'm just getting that all on the screen, okay?
Okay. I know, honey. Come on. I know. Go ahead, ma'am.
Where is the gun? Is it with her, or is it just...
I have it right here, ma'am. It's sitting on the floor inside the door. My door's locked, so in case he isn't, he can't get up. I'm also armed if he does come over and try to harm her, just so everybody knows.
Okay.
I'm kind of concerned with her mother and the little girl might get back there and find this whatever happened. Don't go out there, honey. Come on. I know. Come on, honey. Sit down. I know.
Yeah. All right, I just want you guys to stay on the phone with me, okay?
No, I'm right here with you. I'm just with her. I'm trying to comfort her. Where in the house is he? Oh, the police are going to want to know, probably. I know, baby. You got to sit down. Come on. There's no... Well, honey, they want you to stay here. If he isn't, we can't take a chance. That's why I want them to hurry up before you get back from the park.
Deputies are moving as fast as their hand. They're coming priority. They're coming lights and sirens. They just want to get and make sure that everything's okay. I want to... So where in the house is he?
Where in the house is he? Her bedroom. No, I don't know where that is. So it's one of the bedrooms. It's a lot like mine, so I'm going to assume when you go into is the garage door open? When you go into the garage, it's going to be on the left? On the left.
Okay. All right, I'm just getting that typed up, okay?
What, ma'am?
I'm just getting everything on the screen, okay?
Okay.
I should have Deputy pulling up here soon. Do you see him?
I'm in the back now looking out. I know which way the park is in Central Park here.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, the sheriff's here. Thank heavens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you
the sheriff's car just pulled.
Yeah,
what
they just pulled up to the other address. I'm going to stay on the line with you until a deputy gets with you, okay?
Okay. Okay, the sheriff is here. I'm not too sure where they're going.
I'm just staying on the line with you. The deputies.
I'm right here. I haven't left yet.
Yeah.
I just see it's a SUV sitting out there in front of my neighbor's house, right in front of my house. Just to come, you know, they're going to take you into custody. You know that, right? Okay, just you know. You just calm down and just calm. Okay. I know.
Okay. You just let me know when they come knock on your door, okay?
Are they coming now, the police?
They will. They're waiting for a little bit of additional units. They want to have everything.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm glad that, oh, geez, we got to get a hold of, don't you go out. Right until this police officer comes and look.
They're going to let me know what they want me to tell you, okay? They're just waiting to make sure
Okay.
that they have other people with them. They don't want anything to get out of hand without having proper backup, you know?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the weapon's here. I just want them to know that exactly where it's just sitting right inside the door. It's on the floor. And I did reach out when she ran in and picked it up off my front patio and brought it in. I wasn't going to leave it outside. Here's another police officer.
Is it just inside the front door or the back door?
Say that again?
Is it just inside the front door or like the back door patio area?
I'm by the front door. Okay. She came in the front. I'm sitting here staring at out.
Okay.
Looks like he's talking to one of the other car. Neither one of them are moving.
Yeah, when it's front one, okay?
Okay. Hey, is that your weapon or his? Okay. Okay. That's why. Let me get my... Okay, just calm down, hon.
Okay. Now, the deputies want her to go outside with her hands up, nothing in them, okay?
You want her to go out?
Yes, they want her to come out without you.
Out of my house?
Yes.
Does he know she's in my house?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so you're going to have to go out, okay?
And they want you to stay inside,
Now,
okay?
put your hands where you can see him, okay? All right? Where's he at?
Just start walking out front. They're outside.
I don't see him anywhere. He sure isn't her.
Just start walking out. They're not going to do anything. They just want to make sure that everything's safe and that they're safe, okay?
Can I take her out? She's really upset.
No, they want you to stay inside. It says female
Well,
only.
stay inside on your hand. I don't see it. Now, are they at the right house?
We've told them multiple times which house to be at.
Yeah, 11327. I'm right in front of that SUV that does not have its light. Hold up right there, honey. Where are they at? There's a police officer over on the, with the feature now.
Yeah, just keep her walking out, okay?
Honey, do they see you?
They're probably giving her instructions, okay?
Okay. Now, I need a police officer to come and get this weapon.
Yeah, they're going to come and get the weapon. They just wanted to make
Okay,
sure.
here they come now. Okay.
Folks, just hand those transcripts back down to the deputy. You may resume your questioning.
At any time during this interaction with Ashley, did she appear to have any injuries?
No.
Okay. Did you see any blood on her?
No.
Did she complain of any injuries?
No.
How about her clothing? Did you notice, was her clothing ripped or anything wrong with her clothing?
Not that I noticed, no.
Okay. And eventually, did the police come to your house?
Talk to me?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Okay. And did they recover that firearm that she had brought over that you left?
They did it while I was outside, because when I went back in, it was gone.
Okay.
I assumed they took it.
Okay. So maybe you didn't see them take it, but
No.
it was gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions. The defense may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Cross.
Afternoon, Mr. Sant.
Afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you for coming this afternoon. With court's permission, may I approach?
Yes.
Mr. Sant, I've passed you a photograph. I'm going to mark it for identification as Fence Exhibit Number 1, if I can.
And Mr. Sant,
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to keep startling you. I apologize.
That's okay.
Can I please have that transcript? No, the transcript. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mr. Mr. Sant, can you identify that?
Well, it looks like my house and Alicia's house at the time.
Yes, sir. And they lived in the house right next door to you, I believe you
The
said.
one with the red dot on it.
Yes. It was the corner house, correct?
Yes, right,
And it's got a red dot on it?
right.
All right. Is it an accurate representation of your house in comparison and in position to where Ms. Benefield lived?
Yeah.
Would you do me the favor, may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Would you put a check mark on the roof of your house?
My house.
Yes.
All right.
Your house that's depicted in that picture. Okay, we're going to help the jury see how this took place.
I'll put it on the overhead.
Objection to putting it on the overhead. Can we put it on the overhead? Your Honor?
Absolutely. Madam Clerk, can you dim some lights for us? Just the jury and the presentation.
Got it.
Is this just a demonstrative aid?
Yes, sir. Okay, so, Mr. Sant, just if I may turn your attention, if you could.
This one or this?
Actually, I think maybe you'll be able to see it better on this one. The
Probably.
chair should swing around.
Oh, yeah.
You see the one with the red dot on it? That's Ashley's house?
Yes,
And your house is immediately to the left, correct?
yes.
All right, thank you.
Don't move that mouse.
I'd like to move that into evidence, Your Honor, as defense exhibit number 1 at this point.
Okay. I just asked a minute ago if it was a demonstrative aid or if you were admitting it.
Well, it wasn't until Mr.
So
Sant.
admit things first if you want. Any objection?
And Judge, I recognize it's the state's case, but I have no objection to this exhibit.
All right, received.
Mr. Sant, you've told us that on this terrible occasion, Ashley was terrified.
Yes,
I think you said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, I think you said she was stuttering and shaking.
yes,
Pretty hysterical.
yeah, yes.
All right, now, Mr. Sant, you're pretty familiar with firearms, are you?
Somewhat. I use them. I go to firing ranges now. I'm no expert, but I.
Was there anything about that firearm on that day that you noticed that was unusual?
First thing I noticed is when I saw it was a spent cartridge stuck between the slide and the entrance to the chamber.
A spent cartridge, meaning a fired cartridge?
I'm sorry, yes, it was empty.
Okay, and it was stuck where?
It was stuck with the front end of the slide and the back end of the chamber entrance.
The slide on the gun that
Right.
cocks it and loads another bullet into the chamber?
Correct.
So could we agree that the weapon was jammed?
The weapon had been misfired or mishandled. Or
Okay.
wasn't held far, and it didn't eject it far enough.
Now, what is that indicative of, that a cartridge would be stuck like that?
Objection, foundation.
I'm going to sustain.
Mr. Sant, do you have experience to the extent of being familiar with weapons and what would cause a cartridge to get stuck in the manner that it was on this gun on that day?
Yes.
May I, Your Honor?
Do you want to be heard?
No.
Go ahead.
Thank you. What is that indicative of, Mr. Sant?
In my experience, was the weapon wasn't held properly when that particular cartridge was fired.
And when you say by held properly, meaning held too loosely,
Yes.
no further questions.
Redirect.
No.
Can this witness be released?
Yeah.
All right,
Mr.
Mr. Sands?
Yes.
You are released from your subpoena. You are free to go.
Okay. Can I take these with you?
No, you can't take those. They wouldn't work outside
Oh,
anyway.
well,
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
Okay, can you flip on the lights? Do you need the presentation?
Not with this next witness. And the state would call it Deputy Pearl.
All right.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Hello, sir.
Good morning or afternoon, sir.
My name is Judge White. I'm presiding over this case. Just make yourself comfortable in that chair. Get about 12 to 15 inches from the microphone. It does adjust up, down, left, right if you need it. Just talk in a loud, clear voice right into that microphone. We'll be able to hear you.
Yes, sir.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Deputy Thomas Burley, B-A-U-R-L-E.
Burley, I said it wrong. I apologize.
That's okay.
And how are you employed?
Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been so employed?
Going on 23 years.
And what are your current duties with the sheriff's office?
Patrol.
And what are your daily duties as a patrol deputy?
Patrolling my zone, which is Lakewood Ranch currently, and taking calls for service.
And back in September of 2020, were you in the same position?
Yes, ma'am.
And would your duties have been the same?
Yes, ma'am.
And to become a law enforcement officer many moon ago, what kind of training or education did you obtain?
It'd be a law enforcement academy here in Manatee County.
And then since then, do you continue to have courses that are offered through the sheriff's office that you can take if you'd like?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I want to draw your attention to September 27th, 2020. Do you recall if you were working days or nights then?
I was working second shift, which would be 3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
And you said your zone now is in Lakewood Ranch.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct me if I'm wrong, our county's, the sheriff divides the whole county up into zones.
Correct.
Okay. And what zone is that you're in now?
My zone is North 80, which is Lakewood Ranch, which covers from State Road 70 to University Parkway, from I-75 to Lorraine Road.
And so on September 27th of 2020, what zone were you in if it was something
North
other-
80.
North 80.
Yes.
And during your shift that day, did you respond to 11327 White Rock Terrace?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the nature of the call?
It came out originally as a 911 call that a female had come to the neighbor's house and she had a gun with her.
And when you hear a call such as that, does it affect how you respond to the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And how does it do that?
It's dependent on the situation. Sometimes it's priority lights and sirens. Sometimes it's a normal response.
And how about once you arrive at the scene, does it affect how you would react when you got to the scene?
Yes, ma'am. Per protocol, we park a minimum few houses away from the actual caller's address.
And is that based on the fact that there was a firearm?
Correct.
Thank you. And did you do that in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know how long it took you to arrive, since you were in your same zone? You had to guess?
That's an adjacent, that's North 70. It's
Oh,
an
I'm
adjacent
sorry.
zone. I would guess probably 15 minutes.
And I think I didn't ask the right questions earlier. You were in zone North 80 then?
Correct.
Where was this call?
North 70.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I messed that up. And when you arrived, what did you do?
Again, per protocol, I parked a few houses away. I'd observed a vehicle parked on the opposite side of the street directly across from the 911 caller's residence. So I took up a position behind that vehicle because I was the only deputy on scene at the time. I was waiting there behind the vehicle for additional deputies to arrive on scene.
And did they arrive?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long were you there, you think, by yourself?
A minute, maybe.
And once the additional deputies arrive, what happens?
The second deputy arrived was Deputy Vreeland, which that was his zone. Dispatch still had the 911 caller on the phone, so we had the Deputy Vreeland told dispatch to have the 911 caller tell the female to come out with her hands up.
And did she do that?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
And were you able to observe her at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you make any observations about her person?
Just she was visibly upset.
And did you see any injuries?
Not that I observed, no.
And did you notice anything about her clothes? Was it ripped or have
No,
any?
ma'am, she was wearing a sports bra, shorts, and sneakers.
And they seem to be intact?
Seemed to be intact, yes, ma'am.
When she exited the home?
No, ma'am.
What happened to her once she exited?
Deputy Vreeland proceeded forward to the middle of the road and placed her into handcuffs. And being as my car was the closest, we brought her to my car, placed her in the back seat of my car.
And why would...
For a moment.
Yes.
And I think I was asking you why she was placed in cuffs and put in the police car.
Due to the circumstances and officer safety.
Thank you, sir. And at that time, actually, strike that. What was the next thing you did?
Other deputies were arriving on scene, so I yelled to any deputies that were there were multiple, to watch Miss Benefield in the back of my car, while myself, Deputy Vreeland, and I believe it was Detective Jones, proceeded to the house to clear the residence.
And would that have been that house next door to the 911 callers?
Correct. directly next
And,
door.
thank you. And did you enter that home?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you enter the home?
Through the front door.
Did you notice anything outside the house?
Yes, ma'am. There was a large moving van, I believe it was a U-Haul in the driveway, and the garage door was open. Looked like they were moving stuff.
The big door
Yes,
was up. And when you went in through the front door, were you the first person or was Deputy Vreeland in front of you?
Deputy Vreeland was first, I was second, and Detective Jones was third.
And was the door locked, if you know?
No.
And what happened once you got inside?
As we entered the house, I observed the first bedroom to the left. I observed just a pair of legs, basically just above the knee down. Deputy Vreeland immediately took that room to check it. Myself and Detective Jones proceeded through the rest of the house to clear the rest of the house.
And what are you doing when you clear a house?
Making sure there's nobody else in there that could be hurt or injured or any threats.
And did you find anyone else in the home other than the set of legs that you left with Deputy Vreeland?
No, ma'am.
And did you ever go back into that bedroom?
No, ma'am.
And did you remain in the residence?
No, ma'am.
Where did you go?
Myself and Detective Jones immediately left the residence, and I went straight to my patrol car and proceeded to get inside my patrol car to sit with Miss Benefield.
Your Honor, can I have just a second?
Yes.
At some point, did you ask, was EMS on scene when you were on scene?
There was so much going on. I don't know if they had arrived while we were in clearing the house or they arrived right after. I'm not sure exactly when they arrived.
Okay, but at some point they were there?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ask them to check Miss Benefield to make sure
Yes,
she was
ma'am.
okay? And did she require any medical treatment?
No.
What was the next thing that you did?
Sat in my car with Miss Benefield and waited till I was directed what to do.
And were you eventually given some direction?
Yes, I was advised to transport her down to the main sheriff's office in Bradenton for interviews with
And
detectives.
that's the one by the mall?
Yes, ma'am.
And once you got there, how long is that ride?
20 to 30 minutes.
Once you got there, what did you do?
Once upon my arrival, escorted Miss Benefield up to the entrance where I believe it was Detective Justin Warren was there, and I believe one of Miss Benefield's attorneys was there as well.
And did you conduct any further investigation in this
No,
case?
ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any questions with the defense. Any more questions?
Cross? Yes, sir. Afternoon, Deputy.
Good afternoon, sir.
A few questions. If you don't understand any of my questions, please just ask me to repeat them.
Yes, sir.
I think you told us Miss Benefield's condition emotionally on that day when you saw her was she was hysterical.
Visibly upset.
In distinguishing between visibly upset and hysterical, can we agree that you felt she may have been in shock?
I honestly wouldn't know. I just observed her to be visibly upset and crying. I didn't see any hysteria or anything like that involved.
Okay, you're basically like any deputy trained in basic first aid, no?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you would recognize shock if you saw it.
Possibly.
Do you recall giving a deposition in this case, Deputy Burrell, on August 20th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Let me hand this to you and see
Sure. I have a copy as well.
if that refreshes your recollection at all.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even recall everything I said in the deposition due to the time frame.
And in seeing it now, does it help refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, on that particular day, did you think she may have been in shock?
According to my deposition, yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. You told us that when she was initially placed in your squad car, she had on a sports bra.
That's what I would say it was, yes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. My question runs to whether or not at some point following that, a request was made and a deputy brought a cover shirt for Miss Benefield to wear.
I don't recall a request being made. I just recall Deputy Vreeland bringing out a shirt and a pair of shoes. I don't know who made that request.
She put the shirt on.
I believe so, yes.
I want to ask you for a minute about report writing. Did you write a report that reflects your participation in this particular case?
I did a supplemental report, yes, sir.
Okay, that's pretty routine for deputies, is it not?
Yes, sir.
In fact, Deputy Burrell, would it be a fair statement to say that in Police Academy, they actually train you in report writing and how important it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that would be because, can you even give us an estimation of how many calls you might respond to in a month?
It'd be very hard.
Okay. And by documenting significant things in your report, you don't have to rely on your memory 8 months, 2 years, 3 years down the road.
Most of the time, yeah. As with any call, sometimes you remember things after the fact.
Of course. So I want to ask you if you independently recall on May 7, 2018, responding to a call involving a suspicious person in the driveway of Miss Benefield's home. That would have been right next door to the home that she came walking out of.
I have no recollection of that, sir.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Let me pass you your deputy Burl, see if it refreshes your recollection. Feel free to peruse it.
Sir.
Name? Okay.
But I don't recall it.
You don't doubt that it's
No, I don't doubt it's mine.
report that was authored by you?
Sometimes the system gets mixed up, our electronic report writing system.
Yeah.
Still happens today. Sometimes you'll go to write a report and somebody else's, another deputy's name inadvertently
Sure.
ends up as the primary on that. If you don't catch it, it stays that way.
Yeah. At least as we sit here now, you don't have any reason to suspect that's the case, as opposed to it being an
It's
earlier.
possible.
Let me finish.
Okay.
As opposed to it being an earlier report that you compiled that you just don't have any memory of this far forward.
It's possible.
Okay, so with the court's permission, if that memorializes your perception of that call on that day, I want to ask you a couple of questions, if I may.
Again, I don't recall this, so I don't think I can answer questions related to it.
Deputy, when you recall and you fill out a incident or investigation report, among other information that you enter routinely into those reports is the identity of the reporting officer, no?
No. Again, as I previously stated, if you're one of the responding deputies, sometimes that was an old system. We're on a new system, still does the same thing. Sometimes it can inadvertently put one of the other deputies on there as the primary. So if you don't catch it, the report goes through with that other deputy's name on it. So it's all electronic.
Now, that's 2 times you've explained that. So are you telling us that that is the standard practice, that dispatch makes a mistake
It's
and
not
the
dispatch,
deputies
sir.
don't catch it?
It's not dispatch, it's a
It would
mistake.
be the exception. Could we agree?
It can happen, and it does
Okay.
happen, yes.
So now, let me ask my question to you again.
Okay.
Among the information that goes into an incident report, does it identify the deputy who is making the report?
Usually, yes.
All right. Does this identify the deputy that was making the report?
It identifies me.
Now, what I would like to ask you, Deputy Burl, is who the complainant was. That's another piece of information that's inserted in a report, is it not?
Correct.
Okay, and the nature of the complaint as well.
Correct.
Okay, so let me,
Sustained.
what was the objection, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Lack of foundation.
Does this report that you've seen include the information that we just discussed, the nature of the call and who the complainant was?
Yes.
Now, without leaving it to your memory.
Okay, if you could approach, please.
More continuing coverage is on the way. The Black Swan murder trial of Ashley Benefield from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. Press subscribe now.